I remember in the last interview that we did, I kind of complained a little bit about his vibrato, right? Which I think I loved that. That was really cool. He has a lot of depth on the low notes.
Please say hi to Korean fans. Everyone loves you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, hello, my dear friends in Korea. I'm so happy that I get the chance to kind of see you again today to tell you some stories. I love you guys, and I can't wait to come to Korea and hopefully see you soon in person. Thank you so much for watching the video.
Let's talk about videos. And comparing to the live videos you saw in the last interview, was there something you felt different?
Yeah, definitely. What I really enjoyed about watching those 3 videos that you sent to me was I felt like I learned a little bit more about how diverse the singer actually is, because the styles are quite different, right? And it really seems that he's doing a very nice job accommodating all those different styles, and particularly to that second song, that Dearest Hope song that you pointed out. I remember in the last interview that we did, I kind of complained a little bit about his vibrato, right? And it was me not knowing that this slower speed of the vibrato is actually very typical for that genre, right? What was interesting in this video was, yes, he showed that same slower vibrato again, but I felt that in this song, he has a lot more diversity on using vibrato. There's some parts where the vibrato is slower and other parts where it's a little bit faster, and actually kind of like reflecting or mirroring the emotions of the song, even like reflecting that on his vibrato work, which I think I loved that. That was really cool. Of course, first I understood more about the genre, that on some parts the vibrato needs to be slower, but I think he played it very, very nicely, going into emotions and having reflect that on the speed of the vibrato, also in different areas of his range. So I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, I understand. How do you feel about that in terms of specific genre and in vocal technique?
Well, I think it's a very, very beautiful genre. I mean, those songs that I've heard so far, they really show a lot of depth of emotion. And I think that it requires a singer to also like dig deep in terms of his own emotions, but also in terms of vocal technique. And I mean, what Im영웅 does so well is he has a lot of depth on the low notes. He's playing that very, very nicely. And I think that is important for any kind of singer who sings that genre, that they're able to go there, which, when we're talking about vocal technique, really requires that they're getting their larynx low enough on the lower parts when they're singing, but at the same time that they're not getting the larynx too low, so the vocal folds are abducting and they get super breathy. Okay, and I think that he does that really well, but I don't know if it's too early to give him suggestions now that we're talking about it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, when we're talking about those lower notes and that deep emotion in terms of vocal technique, I love what he's doing. However, in terms of suggestions, I feel like I'm not speaking Korean, unfortunately, but to me, when I listen to the sounds of the language, Korean is very heavy on consonants, right? There's lots of consonant enunciation going on in your language. And what I feel like when he's on those lower parts of the song, when he's getting like, whoa, the larynx down and those full deep sound, that if he would emphasize the vowels a bit more, he would get even bigger sound and even more energy out of it, because right now he's kind of going back and forth between enunciating consonants and at the same time then cutting things a little bit short and going breathy. But again, if he would speak it more on the vowels, possibly, I would love to hear that. I would love him doing that. I could imagine that he could get even more strength and therefore emotions on the lower end. I love the fact that how he's going into the higher notes with a lot of energy and also diversity in terms of getting sometimes like a little bit lighter, breathier, but then also stronger. And again, maybe that is also part of the style. But what I would love him do is when he's getting into those stronger sounds on the top, I would love to modify the vowels ever so slightly so he could get even more balanced and on some parts stronger and on other parts even softer while he's going into strength. You know, and that would be just, I mean, he's doing so well overall. What an amazing singer, right? But here and there, some vowel modifications would be wonderful for him, I think. But yeah, again, back to the genre. I love that genre. It sounds very, in a good way, very traditional, very grounded, very emotional. And I mean, I saw that when they turned the camera and towards the audience, how touched some people were who heard the song. I noticed that this is something that is very rooted within the tradition, within the culture of Korea. And I mean, just feeling that is just beautiful. You know, when music does not only stay superficial, but goes so deep into the soul of a tradition, of a country, I love that. It's just beautiful. Yeah.
Is there a similar genre in Germany?
A very interesting question. I think that our cultures are very different, right? It's part of the beauty that we're so different, but at the same time we're talking with the language of music. And it's difficult to say because yes, we of course we have specific ways of singing and specific genres. Probably a genre that is kind of like more exclusive to Germany is what we call Schlager, but it's very, very different to that trot genre that you have in Korea. I would say it's a lot in terms of energy. It is in comparison. I'm just comparing here. It's a way more lightheartedly. Yes, of course, the subject's always love, right? Love's the big subject in music, but it's more lighthearted. It's in general, it is more upbeat. At the same time, just in terms of instrumentation, the instruments that are used, the beats that are used, there are lots of similarities, honestly, but the whole energy behind it is very different. Again, way more lightheartedly. I would say that the range that singers sing in that Schlager genre is smaller than with what I heard Im영웅 do.
Who is the most popular artist in Schlager genre?
Schlager. Well, the most popular one is in Germany, Helene Fischer.
Oh,
Yes, you probably have seen her on my Facebook page. I worked with her, you know, she's huge in Germany. She fills huge stadiums in Germany, and she's a wonderful singer. She's great, and she's spreading just so much joy and love for music and love for life. She's very authentic with the way she's singing, has a beautiful voice. Also, when she does shows, she doesn't only sing, but she does artistic stuff and just like huge circus, basically.
Some people think there are different vocal technique or method required to sing when singing each different genre. It can happen in Schlager or also that is happening in trot genre. So do you think in order to sing that trot genre that we share, do you think singer needs to learn exclusive vocal technique?
That's a very interesting question. And you know, I'm a huge fan of building the voice in a way so ultimately you can sing whatever genre you want. And in order to do that, you have to balance the voice. You guys know that. That's your work. That's what you're doing, right? That's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing together. So I think building a balance within the voice is the foundation for whatever genre you want to sing. In most cases takes a while, right? That enables you to then dive deeper into specific things that the individual genre requires. However, having said that, once somebody wants to really authentically project a certain genre, they need to know what the specifics of that genre are, right? In some parts you might have to elevate the larynx more than you would do in a balanced production, or you have to lower the larynx, or you have to get slightly weighty, or you have to get slightly breathy, you know. So these things, yes, of course, you need to make sure that you're able to do that. But in order to have that ability and even more the flexibility to not get stuck in one part of your range or in one part of the expression or even in one style, you know, you have to know where your balance is so you can move back and forth and not getting stuck. But again, yes, you need to know what specific sounds are typical for a specific genre. And yes, of course, it totally makes sense to practice, to develop that in an isolated way, meaning exclusively training those sounds so they're coming natural, you're very confident with the sounds that you're making. At the same time, important, balance the voice, then go into the specifics, then go back into balancing your voice, you know? And that is so cool with Imyoung, now I know his name. That is so cool about him because with those 3 videos that you sent to me, he's doing stylistically, he's doing very different things depending on the different style, right? Like in the first song, in the Despacito version that he did, he uses a lot of vocal fry on some parts of his voice, right? And I would tell him if I would work with him on this song, ooh, take it easy. Don't go that much overboard with the vocal fry, but choose specific parts where you're using it. Because, you know, with style, style is a very delicate thing to me. Because you have to acknowledge the style, you have to serve the style with your voice. However, if you're going overboard with the stylistic tools, if you're getting stuck within specific stylistic tools, it can very easily get too much very, very quickly, you know, and then it gets annoying to people. And then they're like, no, that was too much. Cool stuff, but that's too much. So it's a constant balancing act between acknowledging the style, honoring it, going for it, but then striving back to balance and using different stylistic tools. Yeah, I hope that's an answer.
The third video, Hero.
I thought, wow, this is very, very pop style in comparison. You have wonderful music in Korea.